chairs.
Regardless of the position.
Well, it goes back to cronyism. I mean, it's a cronyism deal. It's, you know, we're privileged. You know, you don't get to know what I make for a living, even though you're paying it. You know, I mean, I got a special deal. You don't get to know about it. I mean,
the law doesn't allow a class of citizens to have special privileges that aren't equal to everyone.
But they still do. But I think
they still do.
You might have to look at it.
We already established that we ignore most of the law.
And I agree. None of that's going to make any difference. Someday, what happens?
This is our statement to who, when somebody goes, who are Iowans for accountability?
you got to get the elevator speech down. You're in the line at Schnucks or IV or wherever you shop, and you're chatting with somebody.
Yes,
sir.
And bam.
Maybe to be a little more generic, a little more basic, as far as like balanced budget. Things that right now that are affecting the country. Federal government's overspending, demand a balanced budget. I believe term limitations have got to be
all that. We could add like 6 things to this readily. The problem is at the county level, we're not going to impact that in this election cycle in the next 2 years. We can't. If these 3 folks get on the supervisor, it's 3 of 5. We can impact some of this stuff. You know.
Look at the national side. We're dealing with a war.
This was a risk to even bring this up, because does it help us get elected is the question.
I'm trying to find where you're trying to message.
I agree.
War thing and Southern Rock over here, and over the thing, and we start getting the higher national.
I know. Do we think that this helps get us elected? These 3 folks elected? Just raise a hand. Who thinks talking about this in the grocery store line will help get these 3 J's elected? Okay. Not very many people.
If you're talking to the right people.
You're talking to the right people. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't bring it up in dialogue and we shouldn't hammer on it. Yes, sir.
2 and 4 might. 1 and 2, absolutely not. Because the corporate individual welfare, that ties into some of these county issues. The eminent domain use to get somebody land, all these sorts of things. That does tie into local issues. So that one, and then equality under the law. Those 2 do, but the undeclared wards as a local issue, I don't see.
Good call. That's a good call. Yes, ma'am.
Do we have any health concerns at the local level?
Do we have any
Health concerns at the local level that can be addressed, or we have people have concerns about those?
The question was, do we have any concerns about health at the county level?
Mandatory vaccinations?
It's not mandatory in Iowa.
Several of us went and met with Sheriff Connor when was that? Fall of '09? Is that right? To specifically talk to Sheriff Connor about the fact that at the county's website, when the whole scare about H1N1 was going on, it was a big hoo-ha in the media and all that, that when you went to the county's website, that all they did was link to the CDC. Their policy was the federal policy, which was just take the jab. You know,
even their flood plan is we will defer to FEMA. If there's ever a big tornado, we'll just.
But I'm trying to focus on health here because this woman's question. So we could go down that path if you want, you know. And we sat with Sheriff Connor, and he said we're going to do what the feds tell
But
us.
that shouldn't be their stance according to the law, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. So I mean, this better be a little strategic here too. You know, what do we think is going to resonate? Yes, sir.
Part of our platform should be exercise the state's sovereign rights from the federal government.
So, county and state sovereignty is a platform that we can talk about, which encompasses all this stuff, really. Okay, good. I like that.
We need to think too in terms of history. In the history of the world, most of your free republics were city-states. They weren't nation-states as we know them today. Geneva, Switzerland, Athens, Greece, it was individual cities and the surrounding communities that banded together rather than being a real country like we think of today. So rather than just the state standing up, Davenport and the surrounding county, they back off because a lot of liberty has been started.
So do we have a fair share idea of what we want to set up here? Is there a motion then to Closure. No,
I move that we adopt the local issues, and if we're going to deal with those national issues, I really think we should limit it to probably the 2 and 4. But, you know, I think if we divide them apart and vote on them separately, I think it's going to be the easiest way to do it. Vote on the local issues and the national issues.
We can have a platform that includes this discussion. It's very readily made and so forth, and it can be on our website that's yet to be built or anything like that. What we're talking about is what's going to win votes in the grocery store line. You know, that's what we really should be focusing on. Yes, sir.
I really don't think we should focus on national issues. Because I think when you say county and state sovereignty rights, that really says it all.
It's kind of like holding change. You can fill in what you want, right? Whatever it means to you. If you say county and state sovereignty, you know your issues.
There was a motion to adopt these separately, so we're going to have a separate vote. Is all in favor of separating them out for a vote? Say aye. Aye. All opposed? Say nay.
You like them together?
The ayes have it.
Wait, well, let's ask, you like them together for some reason? Is that right?
I do, because I think you're starting to focus so much on everything, and you've got a lot of work ahead of you, and I think to get the platform, that you can adjust it in time.
Yeah,
You need to start moving forward.
Let me make sure I understand what. So can we not be understanding what we're voting on here? You prefer that we do include this macro stuff.
Well, I thought you
The motion.
What?
I thought that's what the motion is, to include dialogue and then part of the national.
The motion was,
Part of the national.
the motion specifically was to have a separate vote for this and this, just 2 separate votes. To allow that to be separate, since one is related to local platform and this has to deal with national and state. That way we can decide whether we want to adopt the national, state, or just to leave it alone for now. So,
Does that make sense?
and was everybody understood that?
This is just like a many-party convention platform thing.
Because there's, you know, from some of the discussion, it seems like the national issues may or may not be as important. And so, by separating the 2 issues, it's a way to kind of move things along. We agree on the local stuff, it's slam dunk, it's done, that part of it's over. And then, if we're going to have a discussion,
We can arm wrestle over the national.
we can arm wrestle over that, but that at least gets our local
And
issues.
that's what I thought, we should put them all in one and stuff too.
Well, there's some people who want to arm wrestle over the national. See, that's why.
By separating them, it's just a way I hope to speed this up.
Mike.
My problem wasn't that you think that the local stuff is becoming more important than national, but I feel like we all just started getting right back into the horse race.
Right, I agree. This is about county supervisor. We got the macro is easily talked about all the time. That's education. We're not going to get votes with education on the macro. That's,
Well, let's vote on.
I think it comes back to, in the grocery store line, is saying, you know this guy in Arizona who's standing up and nobody's doing anything about it? He's standing up for his values. Do you know he's doing that? Because of the team he's got at the local level in the government. Do you know it has nothing to do with his state or his national government? It has to do with the people that he eats and sleeps with and
his
has
county.
breakfast with. And that's the grocery store talk. Did you know that? Because people don't know that.
Right.
They don't have a clue.
So, move this forward. All in favor of adopting this platform as is without any further amendments or additions or subtractions, say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. The ayes have it. This has been officially adopted.
were there some nays? I'd just like to know.
No, I was just out of it.
It's okay if there are. I just don't want to just,
He's being the devil's advocate.
I don't want to be guilty of fast tracking, okay? Like we're proposing against, crony.